Hey guys, what's going on? Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Got another video for you guys today. Before we get started with today's video, if you guys could, please make sure to hit the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. It makes a massive difference. Also, please make sure to subscribe to the channel to receive more Dallas Cowboys content from yours truly now and in the future. And finally, hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live or post new content. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to talk about where this team is right now and just my overall thoughts of what I've been seeing as we've gone through 3 games now to start the season. Now, I will say, the season isn't over. We're still in second place in the division. We're tied for first place. And, you know, this team can afford to they don't have to hit the panic button yet in terms of like, yo, like we are in serious jeopardy of missing out on a playoff spot because of our stupid ass decisions. Now again, I will say the Cowboys have made some, you know, boneheaded mistakes here and there that we'll talk about, but I do want to say that the fact that the Cowboys, given the circumstances of no preseason, given the circumstances of injury and all this other stuff, they're 1-2 against pretty solid opponents. Look, the Rams are a solid team, okay? The Rams have a really solid roster, and we lost to them by 3 points. It wasn't like we got blown out by them, right? We adjusted, and I've been noticing this. We've been adjusting in the middle of the game to kind of make it so that we're getting close, you know, this, that, and the third. So there's that. Another thing is that when we look at this as well, you know, the Falcons, yes, they're 0-3, but they have a pretty damn good offense. And, you know, to try and contain the offense like they, you know, I'm not trying to give excuses. Look, the fact that we nearly lost them and came back, that's great. So you got to give them credit there, even with the boneheaded mistakes that we made with the fumble issues and stuff. And then you go to Seattle and you put them on the brink of, you know, you push them to the edge pretty much. You push Seattle to the edge, and it took them to the last drive for them to beat you. Okay? Especially after, you know, having a safety, especially, you know, having a couple breaks here and there, and for the offense and specifically Dak to throw you back into that game and put you up by 1 going into the final waning moments of that game. Listen, guys, we could easily, you could say this either way. Like, we could be 0-3 or we can be 3-0. Like, the Cowboys were, you know, that's how it is, man. The Cowboys have been competitive in each single game. They have yet to be in a situation where, I mean, yes, they've been blown out by Atlanta and then they came back and won, but like, they've not been in a game where the game was out of reach and they never made a comeback. You know what I mean? So I first want to go over like the key things I've been noticing from coaching staff, offense, defense, special teams, and just more so what I like, what I don't like, and why I'm not worried as of right now, especially even after the circumstances we're in. So, coaching staff. Look, first-year head coach, usually first-year head coaches, you know, they're trying to figure out what the hell they want to do, okay? They're coming in with a roster that isn't theirs, and unless they're promoted within, which this isn't the case, they're trying to figure out what the hell's best to do with this team. Mike McCarthy's coming in to a team where a lot of the talent is from the previous coach, which is good talent. It's not like everyone's trash. So he has to kind of, when it comes to how he wants to do things, he has to plan things in the long-term game, right? Because obviously you can't, you know, I don't think all of us were expecting the Cowboys to be this juggernaut of a team in terms of like immediate impact. Now, people might say, well, Space, you were saying 12-4, 11-5, 10. Well, here's my thing. My projection was around 9-7 to 12-4, depending on how things went. And so far, the Cowboys look like they have the makings of a solid team this year, even at 1-2. Remember, the last time we started 1-2, we ended up going 10-6, but those were different circumstances. But again, the fact of the matter is like, when I look at this coaching staff, are there things I don't like? Yeah, there are some play calling on the offensive side of the ball where I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, why are we running the ball on first down when it's clearly not working and this, that, and a third? I understand that, right? I get that. Another thing we have to, put of note here is the fact that they're willing to make adjustments when they see something not working. Like, for example, putting Zach Martin at right tackle when Terrence Steele is struggling, to make it, and ever since they did that, Dak was, we saw that if Dak is given time, he can cook and he can throw you back into a game. That's exactly what happened versus Atlanta. When he got time, he was able to air that ball out and get us near the end zone, and get us in the end zone, right? I mean, defensively speaking, special teams, look, special teams wise, we need to work more so on the decision making of doing the fake punts and stuff like that. Granted, that didn't happen in this game, but still. Another thing is like the line for the special teams. Got to do a better job there. And I mean, defensively speaking, that's your biggest issue, is like, what is this Cowboys defense going to look like in 2020? And we could see, and I said this, it's a work in progress. Am I excusing that? No, because ultimately you need to make decisions on what the hell we need to do. And look, I think that Mike Nolan, it's his first year. Guys, we are in a first year head coach, new things, everything. And we're already 3 games in, and we still have 13 more games to play. And odds are, there could be a situation where we're 13 weeks later and we're in the playoffs as the NFC East champions. Or we're 7-9 out of the playoffs. But either way, the point I'm trying to get at is that the main thing for this year is transition. We're going from one coach to another. And usually, like, think about this, man. I'm not trying to say that Mike McCarthy is like these other 2 guys, but when Tom Landry got here, he didn't win immediately. When Jimmy Johnson got here, he didn't win immediately. The only coach that really got in here, or 2 coaches that really got in here and did their thing, were Wade Phillips and Barry Switzer. And to be honest with you, those teams were already stacked to begin with. So I'm not expecting the Cowboys, look, I can, give you all the stats or whatever. This is just me coming from the heart. I don't believe the Cowboys are a trash team. It's just they're trying to screw nuts and bolts together to make sure the machine runs well, And I think they're close. I can see it, that they're close to kind of putting this thing together in terms of like the offense doing its thing, and the defense, if the defense can make some key stops here and there, we'll be fine. Okay, so I want that to be emphatically clear on that front. So with the coaching staff out of the way, let's just talk about the offense in terms of the players, right? Clearly the weakest link of the offense is the offensive line, and that's crazy to say, but not really, because of what we're at right now. It literally took Terrence Steele being benched and Joe Looney being hurt to see Tyler come in at center. And he looked pretty solid for what it was, I mean, there were moments where it's like, what the hell is going on? I mean, like, there were moments where Connor Williams is getting bullied. Brandon Knight, I got to give him a shout out, because guess what, man? Brandon Knight's doing his thing. And I mean, for this game, you didn't really need Tyron, but we're definitely going to need him against Cleveland because of Cleveland's defensive line. They got some tough guys on that defensive line. Myles Garrett is no slouch. But when I look at this offensive line, I mean, clearly they're just trying to shuffle stuff around to see what the hell works. Maybe this is the offensive line. Okay, maybe we have to put Zach Martin at right tackle until Lyle comes back. Maybe Tyler is the guy at center, and Joe Looney, this is all about experiment. And I hate to say that, because it's like, you shouldn't be doing this in regular season games. This is stuff you do in preseason. But again, guys, we didn't have preseason. A lot of these teams that you see are struggling, or teams that are doing well, that can all change in 4 games. In 4 games, we could be talking about the Cowboys being, I don't know, like, they could end up being 5-2, 4-3. They're in the driver's seat of the East. And look, for this offense, Dak Prescott is not the problem, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry. I got to be frank with you guys. He's not the problem. Dak is the reason the Cowboys have been able to stay in some of these games, most of these games. Dak's the reason why you won that Atlanta game. Dak's the reason why you nearly won this game versus Seattle. As for the Rams game, I mean, like, really, like, when he was able to do his thing, granted, you know, the offensive line having some struggles, he was cooking, man. So I don't want to hear this shit about Dak being the problem, because if you say that, you're stupid, and I don't give a damn how you feel about that. It's just the truth of the matter. Dak's not the problem. I don't hear that shit from anybody, whether it be content creator, commenter, or media analyst. Dak's not the problem, okay? Dak is playing lights out in terms of, you know, keeping the Cowboys in these games, and when he gets the ability to have a clean pocket and actually do his thing, he can get the ball downfield. He can get the ball in the end zone. He just needs the time to do his thing. And look, man, if this offensive line if they could gel together for at least, I'm not saying they all have to be all pros. You're not gonna have Pro Bowlers at every single position, right? But if they can at least do their job, and Dak can stay upright and not have to worry about throwing an errant pass because he's getting pressured, he'll be fine, man. You know, looking at Zeke, I mean, Zeke's look, Zeke's been solid in spurts. He hasn't had like a dominant game, but he's been efficient for the first 2 games, relatively speaking. This game he got shut down. You know, it was, and also he just didn't look good in terms of catching balls out of the backfield. He was dropping. I mean, I think he had 3 drops or something of that caliber. He only had like 34 yards. So he's got to do better there, right? Wide receiving core, I love it. You know, Michael Gallup's a stud. Amari Cooper's doing his thing. CeeDee Lamb is as good as advertised, guys. I mean, this receiving core is really damn good. And Dak's benefiting from that, and the receivers are benefiting from. I mean, for God's sake, Cedric Wilson had a 2-touchdown game. No one expected that. Cedric Wilson, good. You know, good for him. I'm not saying he's garbage, but it's just like no one would have expected that. Tight end wise, Dolan Schultz. Yeah, you know, he needs to stop. Look, man, Dolan Schultz, he's solid, but he's not as great of a receiving tight end as Jarwin is, in terms of like who we have on this roster. You know, that first drive, if that was, you know, Blake Jarwin doing that, odds are that's a touchdown. You know, I'm not saying listen, Dalton Schultz has made some key catches here and there, but I'm sorry, man, Dalton Schultz is not, like, we're asking him to be serviceable, you know what I mean? But I mean, you don't win games using tight, unless you have an all-pro like a Travis Kelce or whoever the hell. But yeah, man, I'm looking at this offense, man. If this offensive line can just give Dak some time, he can do his thing. And also, if they can get some running lanes for Zeke, and Zeke, you know, and that's the other thing too, is it Zeke's fault that he's not doing well in the run game? No, clearly not. I mean, there are games where it's like, and that could go down to coaching too. Maybe we do need to reevaluate how we're running the football. All right, we got to do some pitches, outside runs, etc. Because every time I watch them, it's just like these inside runs, or we do this this trick play crap, and I'm like, why the hell are we doing this? I mean, I see that we have some jet sweep with CeeDee Lamb that works in some spurts, but you can't be doing that with CeeDee. You got to be doing it with other people, you know. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna throw Kellen under the bus yet because he's got this passing offense looking solid. I mean, granted, you know, Dak's doing his thing, but need more time to give a full estimation of like, okay, like this is where we're at. Defensively speaking, I'm sorry, man, DeMarcus Lawrence does not look good, or he's just not been there. You know, I will say though, in this game he nearly got Russell Wilson. I mean, he did look a bit better in this game than the previous 2 games, but I'm not paying this man $20 million to be a run stuffer. I'm sorry, man. He's got to play better, and he's got to do his thing. And I understand it, man. I get it, he gets double teamed. I get it, but my thing is if he's not a fit for the scheme, or he's not doing well with what we're trying to do, you got to fix that. You either got to get rid of him, or you have to make him, you got to fix him into the scheme. Like McCarthy said, like it's not the scheme, it's about the players. But my only thing is that why is Tank struggling? Is it because of the scheme? Is it because it's just he's not playing well? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to sit, and again, like, I'm not ready to make that judgment call to cut him or trade him until after the season, because we need to see a full 16 games to have a full picture of, like, yo, okay, this is what we got to do. Everson Griffin, you know, I was excited to him. And, you know, look, did he look great? No, I'm not asking for him to look great. I'm just asking him to look good. And he's just looked subpar at best, to be completely honest with you. I mean, Aldon Smith leading the league in sacks after 3 games of 4. No one would have expected that. We already have Aldon Smith having 4 sacks on the year. I mean, he's your best defensive line player right now. Best defensive player, probably. Well, yeah, I would agree with that. So, look. Aldon Smith's your best defensive player right now. And he's doing his thing. And I gotta say this, too. Tristan Hill's looking solid, too. Tristan Hill's doing his thing. So the Cowboys have, you know, they got some guys on their defensive line that look good. The only problem is that you got guys like Crawford, Poe, Griffin, a couple other guys. I'm not thinking off the top of my head, unfortunately. They aren't doing their job, right? And I'm not, again, out of all of them, at least I'm asking Tank to do his thing. Like, I'm asking Tank to just at least do what he did last, like at least be solid against the run, and it's just like he doesn't even, I don't know. Special teams wise, I mean, Greg Zuerlein, I mean, what, he's missed 1 field goal, if I remember correctly. I mean, he's missed 1 field goal. He had 2 extra points blocked, or, well, 1 was tipped, the other was blocked in the Seattle game, so it's not his fault there. But, I mean, Greg Zuerlein's been solid when we asked him to go out there. He's made kicks. He's made clutch kicks. I mean, he won us a game. He nearly won us this game, too. If it wasn't for the defense giving... Oh, before I go any further, because I almost forgot about this. Yo, the safeties suck on this team. I'm sorry, but they are not looking well. I mean, yeah, sure, Xavier Woods is nice and all. Darian Thompson looks solid in some spurts. But you gotta do better there, man. You have to make... you have to have better safety play. You know, whether it be these kinks for all positions, whether it be just kinks of working them out because of the certain season we're at. But listen, man, Cowboys really, really, really need their defense. I mean, dude, you can't expect to be doing this. You can't expect to be giving up 39 and 38 points in back-to-back weeks. Expect to win football games. I mean, the Cowboys scored what? They've scored 17, 40, and 31 points. In the past 2 weeks, the Cowboys offense has scored 30-plus points. And, you know, you should win games by that. I mean, I predicted the Cowboys to score 30 points in this game. They overachieved by 1 point. But, I'm sorry, when you have your safety play allowing for deep balls, it's like they didn't realize, yo, Tyler Lockett's a deep threat, so is DK Metcalf, so why aren't you doing you know what I mean? But I might have these gripes now, but I'm not as upset as I would be under the Garrett coaching staff. And I want to just say this really quickly. Anyone that's saying that, oh, we should have kept Jason Garrett, shut the hell up, because honestly, Jason Garrett does not look that hot in New York. Oh, well, he doesn't have Saquon. Well, just so you know, you should be able to work with what you have, and with we're working what we have. That whole next man up mentality, it's not just some BS that he said. Actually, we're seeing it. Like, we're seeing guys come in and do their thing, right? It's just, that's the thing, is I believe Mike McCarthy... Listen, if this was, I do firmly believe if this was a Jason Garrett head coach team, we would be 0-3 right now, and it would not have been competitive 0-3. I think that the first game maybe would have been competitive. I think the other 2 games would have been blowouts, if I'm being completely honest with you. So, again, it's first-year head coach Mike McCarthy. Like, guys, like, we got to realize, like, when the Cowboys have I want you to think about this, too. For the past, 10 years in the decade, if you want to include 2020 as a part of the decade, like, if you want to do that, the Cowboys have only started 1-2 twice, 2018 and this year. Every other time they started 2-1 or 3-0. They started 3-0 once, but and here's the key thing: out of all of those years, right? the ones starting 2-1, 2 of them made the playoffs. One team that started 3-0 missed the playoffs. The one team that went 1-2 started out, ended up going 10-6. What's the point I'm trying to get here? The point I'm trying to get you, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. We have 13 games to go. We could be talking in the next, hell, we could be talking in the next 3 weeks after this stretch. We're 3-3, or we're 4-2, or we're worse. You know, we're 1-5, or we're 2-4. But I doubt that. Dallas should come out of this home stretch no worse than 3-3. Okay. They should be able to take care of New York, and they should be able to take care of Cleveland. Listen, Dallas is a different team at home, man. Dallas looks really good at home. So, and this has been a trend, even going back to last year. So, I'm hoping that the Cowboys can go home, get a win versus Cleveland. Let's just get back on track, man. Listen, to start out 2-2, given the circumstances, is solid. I would have loved to start out 3-0, but again, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Feel free to leave your comments down below. How about how you felt about what I said? Do you have any thought process? You know, like, oh, like, this is how I feel. Drop that down below. If you guys forgot, please make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, make sure to, I already said to comment, I don't really care. Make sure to do all that stuff like I mentioned before. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.